Chapter 266, Son Misses Mom. When his son suddenly expressed missing his ex-wife, Su Ro, Fang Hao's heart trembled repeatedly. He thought about telling his son that Su Ro had found a new dad and didn't want to see him or his sister Yue Xia anymore. While such an approach might have some effect, it might not be beneficial for the child's emotional and mental development. Building a child's emotional intelligence shouldn't rely on deception. Instead, he said, Yue Xia is sick, and Mom is taking care of her. When Yue Xia gets better, Mom will come back. That's right, Tian. You have to believe your dad and listen to him. Don't get sick. Stay healthy. When Yue Xia comes back, you can play with her. Lu Yu also joined in comforting Tian. Tian asked, how long do I have to wait? Let's go home first. Fang Hao didn't answer because he had no intention of seeing his ex-wife. Lu Yu said to Fang Hao, give him some time. You need some time too. I know. After leaving the hospital, Fang Hao went straight home. After putting his son to sleep, he started working. At noon, after his son had lunch and was in high spirits, he walked around the new house. Finally, he came to Fang Hao and hit his thigh with a toy hammer, saying, Daddy, you lied. Seeing his son's aggrieved look, Fang Hao hesitated for a moment and said, what did Daddy lie to you about? There are no Mommy and Yue Xia's things in the room. Mommy won't come back. You're only 3 or 4 years old, how do you understand so much? Fang Hao picked up his son and said, did you see Mommy with the new daddy yesterday? I don't like the new daddy. Why? I just don't like him. Do you like Daddy? Yes. Do you like living with Daddy? Yes. Exactly, because you like Daddy, and Daddy likes you, so we can live together. It's because we all like to live with the people we like. Mommy likes the new daddy, so they live together. Does Mommy not like me anymore? Mommy likes you. But the new daddy doesn't like you, so Mommy can't let you live with her. If she does, the new daddy will be unhappy. Then, what about Yue Xia? Does she like the new daddy? Yue Xia is sick, and she needs Mommy to take care of her, so she's with Mommy. I want to see Mommy. You will see Mommy, but you have to be good. Mommy will see you when you're well behaved. Okay. I still want to see Mommy. Fang Hao felt a headache coming on. Just then, his phone rang. Glancing at it, he saw it was a call from his ex-mother-in-law, Zhou Fen. He asked his son to go watch cartoons for a while. Strangely, after his son got the tablet and saw his favorite cartoon, he giggled and didn't mention wanting to find Mommy anymore. Kids. As for Yue Xia, she was probably engrossed in playing with the things she liked, forgetting about him. Sigh. Shaking his head, Fang Hao answered the call without rushing to speak. On the other end of the phone, Zhou Fen spoke first. Fang Hao, where are you now? I'm on leave. My parents miss Tian, so I'm taking Tian back for a couple of days. I'm on the way now. I'll call you later. He told a lie and then hung up. Whether Zhou Fen would figure it out was another matter. In the afternoon, he read a book while his son watched cartoons for the entire afternoon. In the evening, he took his son to the nearby supermarket, bought some snacks that his son liked, and later let him watch cartoons for another hour before easily putting him to sleep. He didn't read a book that night. Instead, he watched a movie in bed before falling asleep. Thus, the first day after the divorce passed in this manner. The next day, seeing that his son's fever was gone, his appetite was good, and his spirits were high, Fang Hao was relieved, knowing that his son had recovered. However, his son still mentioned missing his mom and Yue Xia, even wanting to call his mom on the phone. Fang Hao was curious about the woman's situation. After all, 4 years of emotions and life couldn't be erased so easily. However, he resisted the urge. He didn't comfort his son but took him to the amusement park to play, letting him tire himself out. When they returned in the evening, his son fell asleep easily. Thus, the second day after the divorce passed. The same routine continued over the weekend. In the new week, Fang Hao enrolled his son in a nearby kindergarten. On the first day, he saw his son quickly making friends and playing happily with the other kids in the class, making him realize that his son's expressions of missing his ex-wife and Yue Xia were probably insincere. Kids are carefree like that. Maybe that's how they find happiness. Fang Hao sighed. A child's world is so simple, allowing them to find joy easily, while adults, burdened by various constraints, find happiness to be a luxury. After settling his son, Fang Hao had to focus on his own affairs. He couldn't let the humiliation from Zhongling Tian and his ex-wife slide. He wanted Zhongling Tian to lose everything and become a complete failure. He also wanted his ex-wife to regret. He even wanted to know how Jia Jia's condition was. If Xingling Tian's bone marrow matched, and if he was willing to donate, there was a high chance of Jia Jia being cured. If his ex-wife allowed Tian Tian to come back but didn't contact him afterward, it meant the matching failed, and Tian Tian wasn't suitable for donation. Considering Xingling Tian's age and recent stay in a health resort, who knows what other health issues he might have. Even if the matching was successful, he might not be suitable for donation unless he was a selfless and great father who was willing to risk infection. Fang Hao had a general estimate of Xingling Tian's health based on his stay in the health resort, and even if the matching was successful, he might not be suitable for donation unless he was a selfless and great father willing to risk infection. Moreover, matching doesn't guarantee success even among parents, siblings, and relatives. Tian Tian being returned by his ex-wife was proof. However, Fang Hao remained optimistic about Jia Jia's treatment because Xingling Tian had power, influence, and wealth, allowing him to achieve many things. If Jia Jia couldn't be cured, it would only make Fang Hao look down on them even more. He pondered, if Jia Jia were presented before him now, could he cure her? And then came the ethical dilemma, should he treat her? This is impossible, why am I even thinking about it? Competing for the position of the hospital director? He lacked the qualifications, it was too difficult. Trying to surpass Xingling Tian in wealth? Also too difficult. Xingling Tian was old, had accumulated wealth for decades, and had a remarkable background. The chances of a newcomer rising above him were almost non-existent. As he struggled with these thoughts, Fang Hao's phone rang again. It was a call from Lu Yu. After answering, he learned that Zhou had pressured Lu Yu into revealing Fang Hao's new address, and Zhou was on her way. Well, what had to come had come. Let her come. Chapter 267, Small-Minded People in the Countryside. As scheduled, Zhou arrived. Upon seeing Fang Hao, she glared at him, itching to give him a piece of her mind. However, noticing the stubble on Fang Hao's face, her heart softened, and she couldn't bring herself to scold him. She entered without saying a word and looked around the place. Fang Hao followed silently behind her. After a brief inspection, Zhou reached the living room and sat on an ordinary sofa that was far inferior to the genuine leather ones in her own home. Surprisingly, she felt an inexplicable sense of reassurance. She said, "Don't you recognize me?" Fang Hao replied, "Of course, I do. But you didn't call me. You said even if you divorced, you would still call me Mom. You're untrustworthy, you liar." Zhou spoke, her nose tingling, tears streaming down her face. Fang Hao took a deep breath, suppressing the sympathy in his heart. He thought that someone would call her mom, even if it wasn't Xingling Tian, it could be someone else. After all, Su Rou was a beautiful woman, and she wouldn't lack suitors. Moreover, she wouldn't stay away from them, her body had strong desires, and she would seek out men. He handed her a tissue, saying, "I didn't expect you to find out so soon. I thought it would be better to tell you after some time, or perhaps, let Xiao Rou explain." Zhou said, "Why did you both plan to keep this from us? Don't you consider us as your elders anymore? Or do you think you can keep it a secret forever? Xiao Rou hasn't come back since that night, and you took only Tian Tian. It's obvious, and I checked with the Civil Affairs Bureau. I know everything. Why so soon? It was just a matter of time, so it was better to get it over with sooner rather than later." Fang Hao looked up and said, "Come to think of it, this is also in line with your wishes. I don't meet your standards for a son-in-law, and my presence has turned you all into a laughingstock. Look at you now, in such good spirits. I really overestimated myself. I thought you would be devastated after hearing about my divorce with Xiao Rou, and you'd keel over. But no, you're doing well and even moving around energetically. What are you talking about? Do you want to curse me to die sooner? Did a dog eat your conscience?" Really, Zhou rolled her eyes at Fang Hao. The more he appeared strong on the surface, the more she felt that Fang Hao's heart was soft and filled with sorrow, meeting her expectations. This man truly loved her daughter, and he still loved her now. She continued, "The conditions here are not good. Why did you choose this place? Did you buy it with money? Where did you get the money, and how did you plan it?" "I performed surgery on Zhang Jun, saved his life, and he wanted to repay me. The house was sold to me at an internal price. I borrowed a bit here and there to make up the sum. Regardless of how bad it is here, it's better than the hospital dorms or renting outside. I'm content. I'm an ordinary person, just wanting a simple and ordinary life." Fang Hao didn't disclose the amount of money he had, as it was from his gray income and not suitable for public discussion, especially in front of his former mother-in-law. Zhou Fen took out a card from her purse and said, "Here's 1 million. Take it and repay the borrowed money." Fang Hao hurriedly declined. "How can I accept your money?" Zhou Fen said, "I won't give it to you for nothing. I also want you to tell me something. Xiao Rou hasn't returned during this time, and she has no records of taking trains or flights. She should be in Jiangdong City. Tell me, where is she? Is she with her new lover? Who is that person?" As expected, he couldn't accept the money. "Let me tell you, Su Rou's lover is Zhengling Tian, and they even have a daughter. Can you stay calm after knowing this?" "Maybe you can, but I shouldn't be the one to tell you." Fang Hao said, "Take it back. In a few days, Xiao Rou will bring her partner back for you to see." "Are you sure? Now that Xiao Rou is divorced, she can't keep avoiding you. Besides, Jiangdong City is not that big, and she can't hide for long. Go home and wait patiently for good news." Fang Hao is actually wavering now. He underestimated his ex-wife's feelings for Zhengling Tian. If their affair was once secretive and clandestine, now, with the presence of their daughter, especially when she just found out, Su Rou's attitude has clearly changed. She no longer resists the divorce and even thinks that the divorce is good, timely even. It won't hinder her from being with Zhengling Tian anymore. Perhaps, Jia Jia's illness might make Su Buiyuan and Zhou Fen forgive Su Rou for her affair, considering the child's well-being. Su Rou ran out to call Zhengling Tian to share the good news, and then she treated him as a stranger, avoiding eye contact. It was evident. Zhou Fen looked at Fang Hao with suspicion and asked, "Are you genuinely wishing well for Xiao Rou?" "Wish her well? I wish her and Zhengling Tian a family full of blessings." Fang Hao chuckled and asked, "What else do you want me to do? I just see that you, a villager, might not be so broad-minded. You're a narrow-minded country bumpkin. Consider this money as educational funds for Tian Tian. Don't let him go to a low-quality kindergarten. By then, he'll truly be a child of an ordinary family." Zhou Fen insisted on leaving the card. Fang Hao refused to accept it and insisted on putting it back in Zhou Fen's purse. Although he was short of money, he valued his dignity more. Taking this money would bend his head and spine forever. He still had a check for over 3 million that he hadn't cashed. Why bow down for a measly 1 million? Who would feel inferior? He escorted Zhou Fen downstairs and felt relieved seeing that the car waiting for her was driven by one of Zhou's family maids. "Su Rou, are you not going home to see your parents now? Is it because the treatment for Jia Jia is not going well, or is it that you and Zhengling Tian are inseparable, unwilling to leave?" "Probably the latter." Fang Hao smoked a cigarette and looked up to see a middle-aged couple not far away, holding hands with a 2-year-old boy between them. They were talking and laughing, a family of 3, enviable. Ordinary appearance, simple and plain happiness. Such a scene made Fang Hao feel quite uncomfortable. Private hospital. After hearing the words of the chief specialist, Su Rou and Zhengling Tian couldn't relax their brows. They checked the national medical database, and there was no match for their daughter Jia Jia's bone marrow. Even with the offered million rewards, they still couldn't find a suitable match. Moreover, the current treatment, aside from bone marrow transplantation, had not been effective. Jia Jia's condition had not improved and was even deteriorating. "Next time, if you give me these useless pieces of information, pack your things and get lost. I spend so much money on you every year, not to keep a mascot." Zhengling Tian was angry, warned the chief specialist, and then left. The chief specialist's face turned extremely embarrassed. Su Rou was calmer. She asked the chief specialist, "Dr. Ma, Jia Jia is my daughter. Why don't we, her parents, and my son, match her bone marrow?" Dr. Ma said, "It's like this because the child receives half of the genes from the father and half from the mother. Thus, the match with either the father or the mother is 50%, commonly known as a half match. The probability of matching with a sibling is 25%, even lower for cousins, falling between 3 in 10,000 to 1 in a million for unrelated matches." He looked regretful. "Your daughter and son are fraternal twins, otherwise, the match would be 100%. Su Rou touched her stomach and said, "I'm pregnant with twins. If I give birth to them, what is the probability of them matching my daughter?" Dr. Ma brightened up and said, "This falls under the category of siblings, theoretically 25% each. Since they are twins, the probability doubles. This is something to look forward to." Su Rou said, "Before finding a suitable match, you must stabilize my daughter's condition. Don't let it worsen." Once my children are born, as soon as the matching is successful, start the bone marrow transplant. She thought to herself. Fortunately, she didn't listen to Fang Hao or let him force her to abort the child. Otherwise, she would have missed this opportunity to save Jia Jia. Chapter 268, Not Your Daughter. In a person's lifetime, achieving both love and career success is considered a bountiful harvest. However, for most people, life tends to be more ordinary. In reality, if you have love but lack a career, love can easily turn into chaos and eventually fade away. On the other hand, if you achieve success in your career, even without love, you can still find fulfillment in relationships. Therefore, for a man, ultimately achieving success in his career is crucial. After settling his son, Fang Hao began to focus on his work. On this day, after dropping off his child at the kindergarten, he went directly to the hospital to resume work. Lu Jing saw that Fang Hao was in excellent spirits, completely different from his previous despondency, which pleased her. However, out of concern, she asked, I checked records from several hospitals, but I couldn't find any admission for your daughter Jia Jia. Where is she receiving treatment now, and how is her condition? Since Su Rou and Zhengling Tian couldn't disclose their extramarital affair publicly and chose a more discreet treatment method, several days had passed without informing Su Buiyuan and Zhou Fen. Zhengling Tian, being unwell, had established the Sunshine Rehabilitation Center, and there were likely other private medical institutions not open to the public. Conventional methods couldn't reveal anything. Fang Hao looked helpless and said, Su Rou hasn't contacted me, so I don't know. But no news is the best news. You're a great doctor. Your wife, your ex-wife, how could she not trust you? Lu Jing shook her head and continued, Fang Hao, sometimes you need to take the initiative. Because you have the ability, reaching out to your ex-wife could save your daughter. She added, I understand Su Rou, she won't sit idly by. When she truly has no other option, she will come to me. Fang Hao nodded reluctantly and changed the subject. How about we be more serious and take the initiative? You as the hospital director, and me as the vice director, hee. I won't have the opportunity to become the director. My medical skills and qualifications are not enough. I can only rely on the state's gender equality policy, where leadership positions need female comrades. That's my chance to run for vice director. As for you, it's possible. Although you lack experience, you've only been in the hospital for 4 years. However, your medical skills are outstanding. You should be the best doctor in our hospital. Even Huang Yidao admits that you surpass him in some surgical operations. So, don't belittle yourself. Lu Jing handed a document to Fang Hao and said, the provincial committee held a meeting, and this document emphasizes the selection of 3 Grade A hospitals for pilot projects. These are our Provincial People's Hospital, Maternal and Child Health Hospital, and Provincial Traditional Chinese Medicine Hospital. Before the end of the year, they will undergo a medical level assessment. We can be sure that the final assessment results will be a crucial factor for the big shot to choose a rehabilitation location. I am a doctor, not someone who serves the interests of a big shot. Fang Hao silently criticized in his heart, feeling a bit disinterested. Lu Jing continued, during this period, these 3 hospitals will increase their investment in medical construction and establish more robust medical teams. Because you have irreplaceable medical skills, Yang Wenjin can't touch you for now, or maybe she doesn't dare. If she dismisses the most outstanding doctor, she won't be able to explain to the next successor. Only for the big shot's medical care, that wasn't my original intention, but getting in touch with the big shot and using their resources to target and counterattack against Zhengling Tian, that's actually not bad. After weighing the options, Fang Hao said, so you mean, if I achieve some medical results, our chances of successful election will significantly increase. Lu Jing nodded, saying, you can't count on me. Although I am a doctor, I can only be considered a passable one, nothing remarkable. In terms of achieving results, I have the intention but lack the ability. But you are different, you have outstanding medical skills, so this aspect of the work should be entrusted to you. Director, you have seniority and control more resources, able to do things that I can't. How about this, let's establish a special outpatient department in the clinic. We'll treat some special patients, like those with severe myasthenia gravis, or those with conditions similar to Qinglao's rheumatism, or patients with mild progressive paralysis. Our goal is to expand our influence. That's exactly what I was thinking. I've already received permission from Yang Wenjin. We'll set up the special outpatient department you just mentioned in the clinic, and at the same time, She'll allocate some beds for us in the inpatient department. However, you'll be in charge of the treatment. Any problems? Ecstatic, Fang Hao hugged onto Lu Jing's thigh. Indeed, he was on the right track. After that, he enthusiastically dove into the preparations, busy for a whole day until all personnel were in place. Now, he needed to take care of his son, so he couldn't stay in the hospital for overtime or night shifts. He had to rush back to pick up his child. Once the dust settled on the matter of retaliating against his ex-wife and Zhongling Tian, he would proactively inform his parents of the situation and have them come take care of their grandson. Although his parents would support him under any circumstances, revealing the situation hastily would only add a psychological burden to the elderly couple. "Daddy, I miss Mommy." Fang Hao picked up his son, holding him and walking outside. Unexpectedly, the first words from the little one made him uneasy. And the second sentence made it even more difficult. His son said, "I want to find Mommy." This kid still loves his mother. Fang Hao said, "Mommy took Jia Jia to see a doctor, and she hasn't told Daddy where they are yet." "I know where Jia Jia is," Tian suddenly said, then looked at Fang Hao expectantly. "You know? Then lead the way. But if you can't find it, Daddy really won't know. By then, even if you want to see Mommy, you'll have to wait for Mommy to call you and come see you." Fang Hao thought his son was just momentarily inspired, and as long as he took his son around a bit, he could suppress this desire, and his son would give up. In reality, once Su Rou said she wanted to come see their son, he would find a reason to refuse. Next, Fang Hao found that Tian asked him to go to Su Buiyuan's place first, and then according to his son's directions, it took about 20 minutes to drive to a quiet estate with excellent greenery. But the sign at the entrance and the hygiene signs on the building indicated that it was a hospital. Tianyi Hospital? Was this the private hospital Su Rou mentioned? Tian said, "Daddy, Mommy and Jia Jia are inside." "How do you know?" "Last time, Mommy brought me here and then took me away. I remember this place." "Daddy, quickly call Mommy. I want to see Mommy. This kid has a talent for this." Fang Hao was a bit surprised by his son's performance. A 3-year-old could remember things, but to recall and retrace them was indeed a talent. This kid inherited the intelligence of both Su Rou and him. Fang Hao looked up at Tianyi Hospital again. His ex-wife was here, and Zhongling Tian might also be here. He really wanted to rush in and beat up Zhongling Tian, but that was almost unrealistic. He wasn't the impulsive fool who sought valor as a brave man. Moreover, retaliating against Zhongling Tian was not something that could be easily resolved with a beating. He called Su Rou, and once connected, he said, Tian says he misses you. He's at the hospital entrance. Come out and talk to him." After hearing the agreement, he hung up. In a few minutes, Fang Hao saw his ex-wife coming out, as stunning as ever. However, this beauty caused a subtle pain in his heart. Tian got out of the car, ran over, and hugged Su Rou, chanting something about missing Mommy. Su Rou asked about some situations, consoled him a few times, then had Tian get back in the car. She spoke to Fang Hao privately. "How did you find this place? Did you investigate me?" "No, it's Tian who remembers this place. He brought me here." Su Rou looked at the car, where she could see her son waving at her. Her heart was inexplicably stinging. Fang Hao asked, "How's Jia Jia?" "Don't forget, Jia Jia is not your daughter, and you have no relationship with her. No need for you to worry." Chapter 269, The Threat from the Ex-Wife. Jia Jia is not your daughter. Su Rou's words stabbed ruthlessly at the largest wound in Fang Hao's heart, reopening it. She didn't look at Fang Hao, ignoring his changing expressions. She continued to look at Tian in the car and said, "Don't bring Tian here anymore. If he misses me, take him to my parents' place for a day or two. I'll make time to visit him. I won't bring Tian to see you again, and he won't miss you anymore. As for your filthy matters with Zhongling Tian, why haven't you told your parents yet? You should let them know sooner, so they won't keep bothering me. We're divorced, and I don't want my life to be disturbed by your parents anymore. So, the next time they look for me, I will tell them." Fang Hao coldly spoke, turning to get in the car. "Fang Hao, you can't." Su Rou stepped forward, holding Fang Hao's hand, preventing him from opening the door. She said, "Fang Hao, you can't tell them." "You, what right do you have to ask me like this? Who do you think you are?" Fang Hao stared coldly at Su Rou. Despite her beauty, once he saw her true colors, she felt nothing but disgust. "Fang Hao, I'm not despicable. Watch your language. I have the right." Because it was me who allowed you to stay at the provincial people's hospital, giving you the start of a career. You really have some skill. According to you, I should be grateful to you? Accept the fact that you put a green hat on me, pretend as if nothing happened, and continue to cover up for you, so that your dirty deeds won't be known by others? Forget the past, we both gained and lost. Let's call it even. What I'm talking about is now. I know that Su Jie gave you and Lu Yu each 500,000. If I tell Yang Wenjin about this, all she needs is the excuse of accepting money from patients' families in the hospital, and she can fire you and revoke your medical license. This despicable woman, so ruthless. But how does she know about me and Su Jie? Did Su Jie tell her? What's her relationship with Su Jie? Could it be as I suspected, Su Jie is also Xingling Tian's woman? Is Su Jie helping to cover up the relationship between Su Rou and Xingling Tian? Just like the situation with Zhou Yun from Zhulong Group? Fang Hao's face immediately turned pale, his internal turmoil surging. He was furious because his ex-wife, this despicable woman, was threatening him. He sneered, Su Rou, you really surprised me. Okay, I won't tell your parents about your filthy affairs with Xingling Tian. You are just a plaything for Xingling Tian, and Yang Wenjin too, right? What are you saying? Don't you know? I thought you knew everything. Fang Hao pulled away from Su Rou's hand and got into the car. As he left, he saw his ex-wife standing alone on the roadside through the rearview mirror. His mood was complex. If it weren't for his ex-wife's threat just now, he might have thought his ex-wife was weak, and he could easily retaliate against her. But in reality, his ex-wife wasn't someone easy to deal with. If Su Jie truly reported him for accepting money, Yang Wenjin would have a legitimate reason to dismiss him, and the worst part would be the revocation of his medical license. With such a stain, it would be nearly impossible for him to continue practicing medicine. Without practicing medicine, how could he utilize his medical skills? His ex-wife had actually grasped such a life-threatening handle. Of course, his ex-wife wouldn't dare to expose him recklessly because he could also expose her. If he disregarded his own face and revealed that his ex-wife had cheated on him on their wedding night, then the image of his ex-wife as a promiscuous woman would be permanently engraved. His ex-wife cared about her reputation and wouldn't allow him to do such a thing. His ex-wife revealing the money given by Su Jie was just a warning. After returning home, Fang Hao took care of his son and then called Lu Yu, informing her about the situation with Su Jie and seeking advice. Lu Yu was also surprised, advising Fang Hao not to panic and assuring him that she would talk to Su Jie and update him later. Lu director, don't go to her. Otherwise, she'll think she has me under control. Su Lianin didn't come to me for a miscarriage, and my dealings with Su Jie are not over. I'll talk to her again. Alright, Fang Hao, I didn't consider this well. I didn't expect Su Jie to be so cunning. I apologize to you. Lu director, don't think like that. Even if the worst case scenario happens, I can still accept it because I've earned money. Otherwise, with my current salary, when would I ever get this much money? Gains come with risks, and I'm not someone who can't handle it. After discussing a bit more, Fang Hao hung up the phone. He contacted Jin Xiaojian, but the latter, upon answering, said he was busy and promptly hung up. The background noise suggested that Jin Xiaojian was in a lively place, probably a KTV or a dance club, definitely not a proper setting. Had Jin Xiaojian changed so much? From a down-and-out rich second generation to a powerful one, leading a lavish and wasteful life. Could a person's transformation be this significant? He directly contacted Su Jie. Although the call connected after a while, her voice sounded breathless, as if she were engaged in some physical activity. Fang Hao, why are you looking for me? I'm jogging. Is your medical room ready for use? I have time now and can help with your daughter. It's not ready yet. Just wait a bit. You need to understand that the longer you wait, the older your child will be, and it will be nearly impossible to cover it up without leaving traces. In that case, you won't need my help. Just find a private hospital, like Tianyi Hospital, and have them handle it. I can't go to Tianyi Hospital. Then find any hospital. I can't help with your daughter's situation. Oh, one more thing, Ms. Su, we had a confidentiality agreement. If you turn around and tell others about it, and someone comes to threaten me, is that appropriate? Fang Hao, what are you talking about? Who's threatening you? Acting. Just keep pretending. If you confess openly, I'd still admire you as a strong woman. But denying it makes you too hypocritical. For your daughter's abortion, find another expert. Fang Hao hung up the phone, determined not to cooperate with the likes of Su Jie. He called Lu Jing to inquire about Tianyi Hospital. Lu Jing wasn't very familiar with it, only knowing it was a private hospital. She didn't have details about its founder or patient reception. Tianyi Hospital? Fang Hao suddenly remembered something. He paced back and forth in the room, noticing a rapid DNA identification device left unused since being brought back from the hospital. He recalled seeing a delivery invoice for Tianyi Hospital's medical equipment in Li Xiaoxi's husband's company. Next to this identification device was an even larger, more fully featured instrument suitable for forensic or hospital paternity testing. At that time, he asked Li Xiaoxi to send that set, but she refused, claiming it was reserved for a client and was worth millions. Tianyi Hospital seemed to be the recipient. Tianyi Hospital, it must be you. Chapter 270, I Need You. Director Li, I saw your press release, very professional, and your photo looks beautiful. You're in your early 30s, and the title of future director of the Women and Children's Hospital is well-deserved. Fang Hao called Li Xiaoxi because he wanted to get more information about Tianyi Hospital. Li Xiaoxi's husband was involved in the procurement business of Tianyi Hospital's equipment, and she might know some inside information. Li Xiaoxi liked to build her own image and had even been featured as a rising star in a medical journal interview. Fang Hao, I'm soaking in a hot spring. If you want to join, come over quickly. Where? I'll share my location with you. Fang Hao saw the WeChat location sent by Li Xiaoxi. Wasn't it the homestay where his ex-wife and Zhengling Tian were staying? Once again, he felt a lump in his throat. It's too far, I won't come. You really won't come? There are special services here that will absolutely make you linger. Hee hee. What special services? Just some girls, right? Or maybe it's you personally? Forget it, I don't like being taken advantage of. Fang Hao directly asked, I just wanted to ask you a question. Do you know the market situation in the private hospital sector? You're really spoiling the mood. I finally relaxed, and you want to talk about business. What do you want to know? Why should I tell you? Honestly. This woman, the last time we traded, you made a big profit, and now you're turning your face? Fang Hao said, Director Li's methods are indeed heartwarming. The pregnant woman last time, she probably had early-stage breast cancer, right? I don't know if she chose to terminate the pregnancy or give birth prematurely. I think they would prefer the latter, and you must be quite stressed about it. Fang Hao, you are so pleasing to me. If you were with me right now, I would definitely make you feel ecstatic and be the happiest man. Where are you? I'll come find you. Make me feel ecstatic, be the happiest man? Are you blatantly seducing me? Haha, where do you get the confidence? Although I'm divorced now, I'm not desperate for a woman. Fang Hao said, I can help you treat and suppress her breast cancer, prevent the cancer cells from spreading. After she gives birth, she can undergo follow-up specialized treatment without major issues. Let's video chat. Li Xiaoxi hung up the phone and quickly connected to video with Fang Hao. He could see that she was indeed in a hot spring. Her hair was wet, her cheeks had a misty moisture, 2 blushes adorned her fair neck, and crystal-clear clavicles were partially hidden in a sip of clear water, making people want to taste and absorb. This woman still has some charm and can attract the drooling of most men. But Fang Hao ignored it because he was used to Su Rou's unparalleled beauty and found everything else to be flawed and vulgar. However, Li Xiaoxi had trade value. Fang Hao shifted the video feed to his computer and said, Did you see that? I'm conducting an investigation on the private hospital market in Jiangdong City. Your family is a prominent player in pharmaceutical technology procurement, a leader in Jiangdong City. You should have data on this. Let's make this deal. Li Xiaoxi replied, What aspects of the investigation do you want to know? I won't provide overly sensitive information, such as procurement prices and profit distribution. I just want to know how many private hospitals there are, their parent companies in terms of management and operation, or the legal representatives, and information that can't be found online, such as family-owned industries. Fang Hao, your latter request is a bit excessive. Not excessive. Think about it. For you, if you successfully treat that pregnant woman, you'll gain more. In our last deal, I didn't let you lose out. I practically gave you a huge achievement for free. Otherwise, I could have asked Lu Yu, Zhang Jun, and others to handle it, and I could still get that DNA testing instrument, couldn't I? Consider it. If we can make this deal, provide me with the information by tomorrow noon. Fang Hao glanced at the video, unsure if Li Xiaoxi did it intentionally or unintentionally, but she lowered the camera quite a bit, revealing a half arc. He said, Let me tell you something. I visited LV Jing's clinic. She established a special clinic dedicated to treating complex and difficult cases, such as myasthenia gravis. Our goal is to produce results quickly and expand our influence. Perhaps, we will also consider contacting that pregnant woman. Fang Hao, are you competing with me? Li Xiaoxi felt the pressure because, in terms of medical skills, she really couldn't compare to Fang Hao. Excited, she stood up from the water, accidentally exposing everything. Well, the shape and size were okay, just right to hold, but there was no elasticity, and it seemed a bit saggy compared to people of the same age. Fang Hao stared at it. After all, it was free. He said, so, you have to make a decision early. Remember, before tomorrow noon. In an instant, the conversation became dull and tasteless, and coincidentally, he had thrown out a bait. He hung up the video call. Fang Hao checked on his son, who was quietly watching cartoons on the computer. Obviously, meeting his ex-wife had satisfied their son's longing for his mother. Jia. In reality, Fang Hao was also somewhat satisfied. He hadn't completely forgotten Su Rou. There was love, and there was also hatred. Looking at his son, he couldn't help but think of his daughter. Sigh. Why is Jia someone else's child? Why is fate so cruel? Why is my destiny so turbulent? He went to the balcony and lit a cigarette. Love is fleeting, and hatred lingers. In the dim light, people wander aimlessly. Tianyi Hospital. The private hospital's VIP ward was luxurious, similar to a suite in a 5-star hotel. There were exclusive treatment rooms for patients and resting rooms for family members. Su Rou took care of her daughter, ensuring she fell asleep peacefully. She stood by the bedside, feeling a bit absent-minded. Her daughter's hair had been shaved off, turning into a little bald head, still breathtakingly beautiful. But Su Rou also knew that with the subsequent chemotherapy, her daughter's body would undergo unpredictable changes. Perhaps sacrificing her beauty would be the price to pay. Why is my affair with Ling Tian something that cannot be made public? We finally have the fruit of our love. Why does it have to be plagued by this disease? Jia, couldn't you be a well-behaved and healthy angel? You, looking healthy, are truly beautiful. Looking at you like this, it hurts my heart. You share the pain with Mom, let Mom bear it. Get well soon, okay? I'm useless. I don't know how to take care of you. If your father were here. Su Rou thought of Fang Hao. If Fang Hao were present, he might know how to treat Jia or be actively seeking a solution. The final result would surely satisfy her because her ex-husband had the perseverance and capability. Why am I thinking about him? Su Rou gritted her teeth, pushing away the image of her ex-husband Fang Hao from her mind. Just then, Ling Tian entered from outside, and she quickly forgot about Fang Hao. Approaching her, Ling Tian hugged Su Rou from behind, leaned in to kiss her cheek, but found Su Rou tilting her head. He paused and asked, "What's wrong?" "I haven't washed my face, it's dirty. And, Jia looks like this, and I'm worried." "I'm worried too, but I believe our daughter can get through this. Our daughter is the best, inheriting my strongest genes." Su Rou felt a bit nauseous and quickly rushed to the nearby bathroom, vomiting. Ling Tian frowned, approached, and asked, "What's wrong?" "Pregnancy reaction." "Whose child? Mine too?" "No." This time, it was Ling Tian who felt like a fishbone stuck in his throat. He said calmly, "Seeing you suffer like this, why not just give up on this child?" "No, Jia still hasn't found a matching donor. Moreover, the child in my belly is likely to be a sibling for Jia, with a high probability of a matching donor." "Well, then I support you. Rest early and don't tire yourself out." After saying this, Ling Tian turned and left. "Ling Tian, do you mind me having Fang Hao's child? Are you jealous?" "How can you be jealous? How can you be jealous?" Su Rou watched Ling Tian's departing figure, feeling an inexplicable sense of loneliness. A voice from the depths of her heart emerged, causing her to shiver. "Fang Hao, I need you. I can't do without you."